I can't believe they botched Cyberpunk, my most hyped game in years. The world could have been yours, CD Projekt Red, and you screwed it all up. On a brighter note, I can't believe they botched the Avengers. The world could have been yours, Crystal Dynamics, and you screwed it all up. Wait, CD Projekt Red? Crystal Dynamics? What is it with CDs? Well, on a brighter note, this is the year 2021, and plenty of games with rocky launches have been saved thanks to post-launch support. We can only hope those games will be patched and updated over time into a more, let's say, satisfying state. But at least I'll always have you, Rockstar Games. Old, dependable Rockstar. No matter how hyped I get for your games, you'll never let me down. In fact, I think it's time I jump into Red Dead Online, clear out some of those daily challenges, and check out this new content update. Oh. Entering the year 2021, it feels like a new era of Red Dead Online is upon us. We learned directly from Rockstar themselves that Red Dead Online was hugely successful in 2020. There is a massive active player base. The game is also now available to purchase in a standalone form and has been available for a few months for a mere $5. So it's no surprise that tons of new players are dipping their toes into the Red Dead waters. While that limited time promotion is now over, I suspect this standalone version will continue to be discounted and sold at a very low price point going forward, encouraging even more new players to give the game a shot. Not to mention the fact that we're a couple of months into this new generation of games, and with the GTA 5 next-gen port on the way later this year, an enhanced version of Red Dead Redemption 2 for next-gen machines is sure to follow. And of course, we will continue to get semi-regular content updates for Red Dead Online through the rest of 2021. In fact, I think we could get a pretty good idea of what exactly Rockstar is cooking at the moment by taking a closer look at the latest big content update. Bounty Hunters was released in December of 2020 and gave us our first expansion of one of the game's 5 roles, the Bounty Hunter. Up until now, playing through each of the roles is pretty much the core of the entire Red Dead Online experience, so fleshing them out even further sounds like a pretty good idea, right? Well, as it turns out, people were pissed once they really got to sink their teeth into the new update. So today we're going to take a look at the oh-so-controversial Bounty Hunters update, along with Outlaw Pass Number 4, which was released alongside it. Has Bounty Hunters and the various balance changes it has brought to the game as a whole ruined Red Dead Online? Has Rockstar gone too far with these tweaks and made it too difficult to get a reasonable amount of gold and cash? Should we just drop this game entirely? Or are people being far too hasty with their hot takes? Maybe it's not so bad. In fact, maybe this update is actually pretty good. Maybe. Or maybe it sucks. Let's not waste any more time and get right into it. I think we should quickly go over just what exactly was added to the game in December, and perhaps more importantly, what has changed. What has caused all of this anger? Well, the meat of this content update is an expansion of the Bounty Hunter role. By paying 15 gold bars, anyone with the Bounty Hunter role unlocked can now purchase the prestigious Bounty Hunter license. The license grants you a further 10 Bounty Hunter ranks to play through, which means more unique goodies for players to unlock or buy. You also gain access to 39 new missions known as Infamous Bounties. You can find one of these 3-part Infamous Bounties at each of the 13 bounty boards found in the game's world. Finally, prestigious bounty hunters can find and take down 3 new legendary bounties, which Rockstar added to the game on a weekly basis after the initial update went live. Now, that doesn't sound so bad, right? It's no Moonshiners, which I still consider to be the gold standard for Red Dead Online content updates. In comparison, this Bounty Hunters update is definitely a bit content light, and the 15 gold bars we're asked to pay on top of the 15 we already paid for the Bounty Hunter role is pretty steep for a mere 10 new ranks to play through. But if that's all we got with this update, nothing I just described sounds like it hurts the overall Red Dead Online experience. Unfortunately, that's not all we got with this update. Buried in the patch notes found on Rockstar's support website, it turns out a change was made to Red Dead Online that may have massive implications on the game's economy going forward, and honestly, its overall playability. I know for me at least, the sense of satisfaction I used to feel when playing Red Dead has absolutely changed. This single balance tweak has caused by far the most anger I may have ever seen from the Red Dead community. My friends, they nerfed the daily challenges. The amount of gold awarded for completing daily challenges has been reduced by 50%. Oh, the pain. Oh, it hurts. But wait, you think that's bad? Well, they didn't stop there. Daily challenge streaks now reset after a mere 28 days. That means you get to enjoy an adorable payout of 0.25 gold bars per daily challenge with a maxed out multiplier for all of 7 days before it plummets back down to a pathetic 0.1 gold bars per challenge cleared. Longtime viewers of the channel probably know my feelings on the game's daily challenges. I've talked so much about them in all of my Red Dead guide videos. They were great, simple tasks that got you a nice chunk of gold quickly. There were usually 1 or 2 challenges a player could complete that would take no more than 5 minutes, and that was the case every single day. They were such a great way to keep players engaged with the game, signing in every day and trying new things. They also acted as a great incentive for players to purchase a new role because you'd get some new role-specific daily challenges to go with it. This would make it even easier to get that daily challenge streak going. And if you manage to keep that streak going with the multiplier maxed out, you were looking at an awesome 0.5 gold bars per daily challenge. Relative to the game's economy, that is an incredible payout. For that very reason, daily challenges kept me signing into Red Dead and playing day after day, and before I knew it, I had a daily challenge streak going for over a year. You know how many games I play every single day for over a year? Not many. That was the power of the daily challenges pre-nerf. I had to keep the streak alive. It was a worthy reward for all of the players that stuck with what was, at times, a very content-light game. Now that all changes. Now I need to update all of my videos, because now daily challenges are nerfed so bad, I hate to say it. Daily challenges are basically useless. The 50% reduction in payout was bad enough, but to also have any streak reset after 28 days is just evil. Evil. What were they thinking? Was that really necessary, Rockstar? It really feels like a slap in the face to the most diehard Red Dead Online fans who wanted to experience the most out of the game by playing every day, accumulating gold, and spending it on cool stuff. So the anger is definitely justified on this one. No doubt. But honestly, I just feel sad. At this point, I can no longer recommend completing daily challenges. It's just not worth it anymore with such a pitiful gold payout and the laughable reset after only 28 days. Unless it's something super quick like petting your dog at the camp, your time is better spent elsewhere if you want to accumulate gold here in Red Dead Online. Understandably, these awful adjustments to daily challenge payouts also created a lot of negative feelings towards the new Outlaw Pass. With the nerf, suddenly spending 40 gold bars was a far more difficult decision to make compared to before. What's worse is that you only gain back 30 gold bars by completing Outlaw Pass 4. With Outlaw Passes 1 through 3, you ended up gaining back all of the gold bars you spent on the pass as you made your way up the ranks. Plus, you got a roll XP multiplier and a bunch of cool unlockables. It was basically a no-brainer decision if you had the gold because you'd get it all back. For whatever reason, another solid system that worked incredibly well in Red Dead Online up until now has seemingly ended here with this December 2020 update and Outlaw Pass 4. While players who purchased the Outlaw Pass in the first week did get a free 10 gold bar reward, which does get that number up to an even 40 when it's all said and done, players who got the pass after that first week were shit out of luck and basically had to come to peace with losing out on 10 gold bars. Again, 10 gold bars that wouldn't have been a huge deal with the way daily challenges used to work, but now that's a lot. Sadly, unless changes are made in the coming months to restore balance to the game's economy, or some new methods of acquiring gold are added, it really feels like Rockstar is starting to slowly push this game closer and closer to GTA Online territory. That is to say, insultingly low payouts for completing tasks, laughably expensive prices attached to everything, and an overall feeling for players that Rockstar really wants you to spend real money on our make-believe video game currency. Who's to say we'll even get that 10 gold bar bonus during the first week of the Outlaw Pass next time around? Perhaps a net loss on gold after buying an Outlaw Pass will become the norm, and that sucks. As it stands, there just aren't a whole lot of great ways to make any gold whatsoever in this game. More options open up as you purchase and play through the 5 roles, but I certainly feel bad for anyone just getting started with the game. At that point especially, accumulating gold is an absolute grind. I also think some of the blame for the negativity surrounding this content update needs to go to Rockstar for surprisingly poor marketing. For whatever reason, they did not do a great job explaining exactly what new stuff was added to the game with their Newswire post. There was a big focus on the new ranks added with the prestigious Bounty Hunter license and the new legendary bounties, but a mere sentence about the new infamous bounties. Elite bounty hunters apply within. The prestigious Bounty Hunter license is available now. 10 new prestigious ranks with new role items, bounty targets, and more. Yeah, we added some infamous bounties. They're in the game now. Legendary bounty Gene Bo Finley. Outlaw Pass number 4. Improvements, bonuses, new horses, and more. Oh, and please don't read the patch notes because boy are we stretching the definition of the word improvements this time around. No screenshots for infamous bounties, no big fancy font. This seems really easy to miss, and evidently it was missed by many because I saw a bunch of people complaining after the fact that they didn't even know these infamous bounties were added to the game and thought the update only consisted of those 10 additional ranks and the legendary bounties. Heck, I'll be honest, I missed it when I first read the Newswire post too, and if it wasn't for people talking about it on Twitter later on, I may have missed it entirely. What's worse is that even if you go to the bounty board in-game to look for these infamous bounties, they're not exactly easy to find. They look like any other regular bounty, and to get them to appear, you have to hover over the third bounty on the board, then press up on the D-pad. How are you supposed to tell the difference here if you didn't know what you were looking for? It's honestly pretty clunky for what has otherwise been a pretty clear role, and like I said, I wouldn't have known these were any different from any other bounty if not for Twitter and Reddit pointing it out for me. I fully expect the bounty boards to be overhauled in an upcoming update where we'll be able to clearly see every bounty on the screen at once. No weird D-pad scrolling shenanigans required. This is definitely on Rockstar. Getting across how cool these infamous bounties are should have been the #1 priority above the new ranks and the legendary bounties. Because in reality, the infamous bounties are easily the best part of this entire content update. And indeed, the reason why this update is actually not so bad. What a twist. That's right, kids. This update isn't a complete pile of burning trash. In fact, dare I say, it's pretty good? Yeah, I said it. Now look, Bounty Hunters is not amazing by any means, but I do think the tidal wave of negativity that just completely washed over this thing when it first dropped led to a lot of people not willing to even give it a chance. I mean, I knew I was pissed after seeing those daily challenge nerfs, but then I played it, and I kept playing, and I really got into those infamous bounties, which again, I almost didn't even know were there. So, even with all those negatives I just went over, ultimately here's what I took away from this update. Red Dead Online's economy has been nerfed, but it's not entirely destroyed. Yes, the simplicity and almost brain-dead nature of the daily challenges getting you a bunch of gold is a thing of the past, but instead, we get to actually play the game when grinding for gold bars. Outside of the infamous bounties, there's actually not a whole lot to go over with this update. Leveling up through those additional 10 ranks is interesting, though I was able to do so in like 4 hours relatively easily. The Bounty Hunter role has gotten easier to rank up through over time, and Prestigious Bounty Hunter just makes that process even easier. The new legendary bounties really aren't all that special. I always like to see more cinematic content here in the world of Red Dead, but from a gameplay perspective, they're really just more of what we already had before. I hope to see even more added in the future though, as this is a good way to keep players engaged with the role week after week. The Outlaw Pass also isn't all that interesting. I've listed the handful of unlocks that I feel are actually useful from a gameplay perspective, but the vast majority of this stuff is purely cosmetic. I like Arthur's Winter Jacket as the grand finale reward, but we're running kinda low on iconic outfits from the single player mode at this point. The star of this update, and a true game changer going forward in Red Dead Online, is the infamous bounties. Because indeed, with daily challenges nerfed, these bounties provide us the new, quickest and easiest way to get gold in this entire mode. As I said before, each of the 13 bounty boards allows you to tackle a unique 3-part infamous bounty questline. When you complete part 1, there is a cooldown timer before you can attempt part 2, but with another 12 bounty boards you could choose from to start a different infamous bounty mission, that cooldown timer really should never be much of an issue. Before you know it, part 2 and then part 3 should be unlocked and playable. The structure of the missions is also what you'd expect. Travel to the spot on the map where the bounty is located, neutralize their guards, and then you have the choice to deliver the bounty, dead or alive. All in all, these missions are fairly short, most lasting less than 10 minutes from start to finish, if you know what you're doing and you're moving quickly. It's the Wild West action of Red Dead Redemption distilled into its purest form. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Bringing in a bounty alive will provide players with a solid payout of cash, XP, and gold. However, bringing them in dead will lower your cash payout, lower your XP payout, but oddly enough, there is no change in the amount of gold that you're paid. That was really eye-opening and unexpected, given that the collector role and trader role still take a dump on Bounty Hunter when it comes to cash and XP payouts. Those payouts, while decent here, are basically irrelevant in my mind. Gold is the real reward for any bounty hunter. So I did a bit of experimentation and ended up finding a pretty solid new way to make some gold here in Red Dead Online, both quickly and easily. First, start an infamous bounty mission from any bounty board. Head towards the bounty and the timer should appear. You may now proceed to murder everything you see, including the bounty itself. Take the body and head to the area noted on your minimap to deliver the bounty, but before you enter the yellow area on the map here, you guessed it, the Rockstar Classic. For whatever stupid reason, you get a higher payout the longer you take to complete a mission, with the highest payout coming when there's less than 30 seconds remaining. I hate it in GTA Online and I hate it here, but Rockstar seems to be in love with the whole concept, so we might as well take advantage of it. Luckily, this nonsense will pay off because you are going to get a solid chunk of gold for waiting that timer down before delivering the bounty. The exact payout seems to fluctuate, but I've seen payouts from 0.24 to 0.36, all the way to 0.4 gold bars for completing these super simple infamous bounties. Honestly, the most frustrating part of the entire process is waiting down that timer, but at least the bounty is dead, so there's no chance of it wiggling free and getting away. This is the prime time to listen to a podcast, or put on a TV show, or walk around, do some squats, eat an apple. It's free time. I also wanted to confirm that waiting down the timer is in fact the most optimal way to collect gold compared to completing the bounties as quickly as possible. So here's the math I came up with. In 1 hour, I was able to complete 6 bounties going as fast as I could. The total amount of gold I accumulated was 0.72. Next, I tried waiting the timer down to less than 30 seconds before turning them in. Over the course of an hour, I was only able to complete 4 bounties, but ended up with 1.24 gold bars, a solid jump in comparison. That's right, kids. We are looking at a gold bar an hour if you follow this strat. Now, the drawbacks here compared to the old daily challenges are clear. With a maximum multiplier, you were looking at least 0.5 gold bars in mere minutes, and if you were lucky enough to have 2 or 3 easily completable challenges, you were looking at least a full gold bar in a very short amount of time played. The raw numbers are pretty insane there, but at the same time, I think this new method of gathering gold provides its own benefits over the old daily challenges. First of all, daily challenges are just that, daily challenges. Once you're done with them, you have to wait a day for the list to refresh. With these infamous bounties, you can play them to your heart's content and make all the gold you want until you get bored and it's time to watch the Lakers game. A lot of the daily challenge gold really came down to luck. On a bad day, you might only have 1 quick daily challenge, which means 0.5 gold bars. With infamous bounties, you're looking at least 1 gold bar every day if you're willing to put in that hour. Also, let's say you go on vacation in the glorious post-COVID world of 2022. You might not have access to your PlayStation to keep that challenge streak going. No longer an issue if you're grinding gold with infamous bounties. You could skip days whenever you feel like it, and whenever you're ready, those bars will be waiting. I'm also a big fan of the multitasking potential with this strat. By the time you get that gold bar after an hour, you could also be caught up on your favorite TV show. Now that's what I call efficiency. Now, while this might still seem like a lot of work for just over 1 gold bar, it's been 2 years since the game launched. That's a pretty solid chunk of time to learn from, so I think at this point, we can definitively say what we should be saving our gold for here in Red Dead Online, and generally how much we should be holding at any given time. How long do we actually need to grind these infamous bounties, and at which point is it okay to stop? Looking at the cadence of previous updates, we can now deduce how much gold we should have accumulated, at the very least, in a certain period of time. It's clear by now that by far the most important thing to save your gold for in Red Dead Online is a new content update. Each major update has required a pretty considerable investment of your gold to get started. They've also each been accompanied by an Outlaw Pass, which I'd consider to be the second most logical thing to spend your gold on. Then there's the odd in-game item that you could only buy with gold, but those have been few and far between so far. Finally, there's the items you could buy with either cash or gold, but at this point you'd have to be nuts to spend any gold on these. Cash is way easier to get your hands on thanks to the collector and trader roles. So here's a snapshot of the 4 major content updates so far. The initial Frontier Pursuits update asked for 15 gold per role and 35 gold for the Outlaw Pass, which meant spending 80 gold bars for everything the update had to offer. With Moonshiners, we were looking at 25 for the role and 40 for the Outlaw Pass. This continued with Naturalist, and finally here with the prestigious Bounty Hunter license, it's 15 for the role extension and 40 for the Outlaw Pass. So these seem like pretty high numbers, but remember, we get most of our gold back from playing through the Outlaw Pass. So if you've been keeping up with the Outlaw Passes, their cost is basically a wash. Here's the real golden picture. The cost of new content updates has ranged from 15 gold to 25 gold, or technically 45 if you count all 3 roles, though I doubt we'll ever get that much content dropped all at once going forward. So based on this data, here's my conclusion. You're going to want to be carrying at least 65 gold at all times. That's 40 for the new Outlaw Pass and 25 for the theoretical max Rockstar can charge us for a new role. I can only pray it doesn't go higher than 25 in the future, as I think even that number is pretty steep, but obviously you never know. When you consider the fact that you make back most or all of your gold when playing through an Outlaw Pass, that number comes all the way down to 25. And so, when you look at the big picture like this, is the daily challenge nerf really that bad? Yes. Yes, it is. It's so bad. But I think it's clear that you simply don't need to have 100+ gold on you at a time. You just don't. Cosmetics are fun and all, but the very best part of Red Dead Online is playing through these content updates. And in that sense, 25 gold, or going through this song and dance about 21 times during the pretty sizable time frame between major updates, is a pretty small price to pay for what I think has been a really fun mode over the last 2 years. That is going to wrap it up for today's video. Overall, my thoughts are mixed coming out of this update, but I'm optimistic. I think the future is very bright for Red Dead Online. Rockstar gonna rockstar sometimes, but we'll be alright. And I'll continue to hunt for the best and most optimized strats possible, so we don't have to spend any real money on this game anytime soon. I was harsh on the changes to the daily challenges, and especially feel bad for all of the new players, but at least there's some silver lining here with the infamous bounties, if you know what you're doing and grind them properly. As long as you put your mind to it and use your time efficiently, you can weight that timer down and collect that gold. It doesn't offset the nerf entirely, but it at least negates some of the pain. No more golden guns for me though, that's for sure. I think with all of these changes and new players trying the game out, the time is right to take a look at these guides and create new versions for the year 2021. In fact, I've already created a new character and I'm hard at work on those videos right now. So if that sounds good to you and you want to see more fun Red Dead Online guides and content, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. In addition to all those Red Dead videos, I'm also hard at work on some GTA content where I'll look at both the upcoming next-gen version of the game and the Cayo Perico heist update for GTA Online. And yes, more Cyberpunk 2077 guides are on the way as well, as that game continues to be patched and fixed by the day. But that's going to wrap it up for today, so until next time, thanks so much for watching everyone, and take care.